Hello, everybody. We are back. We are talking about some wrestling, and we're not talking about the Will Smith Chris Rock matchup.
Though
They should meet at WrestleMania
to finish
I
it
want
off,
you at WrestleMania.
that would have made it more entertaining at least. Like it was a pretty one-sided affair. Like that's the thing. Like Will Smith just went up and slapped Chris Rock, and that's it. Like,
And you know what's funny? I've had this for years, or for ever since I started StreamYard.
yeah, yeah, and someone actually decided to do it finally.
Someone finally did it
on national television in front of everyone.
in front of 2 viewers.
Yeah, the last. The Oscar audience was up because they wanted to see if Chris Rock was going to throw himself into the audience and attack Will Smith.
It was like chair shots and stuff.
I also think they wanted to tune in to see if it was actually 3 hours like it was supposed to be this time.
Well, I woke up at 3 a.m. I had to use the bathroom. So I was like, well, I'll take my phone with me. And then I went on, I'm like, whoa, it's like mega explosions and like I'm like, people are live streaming now? What is going on? And they're all like, oh, this Chris Rock is like, and then I watched the video and I'm like, this is fake. Like they kayfabe this or whatever. Like this is like, to get the Oscars going. But then I started thinking, I'm like, if they're gonna go through the whole charade of doing this thing, shouldn't they make it realistic? Like I would have thought the guys would have come out to arrest him and all that. Because I'm thinking, well, if nobody's coming out to like stop this or to take him in or something, this must be fake. But then I'm thinking, or is this actually real and they're actually gonna let it slide? And then I thought, what is the stupider thing? And I was like, the stupider thing would be that it's real. And then not only do they put a tweet out saying, "Oh, we don't condone violence." It's like, actually, you reward violence. The guy literally went up there, slapped the crap out of somebody, sat back down, no repercussions, got an award, accepted it, was crying, "Oh, this award." It's like, is this happening? And then people were saying, "Oh, Chris Rock deserves it." No.
Like, so Jada Pinkett Smith has a disease which apparently causes her to not be able to grow hair on various parts of her body.
Yeah.
You could say I have that, but anyhow, whatever. And I guess she's very emotional about it. She's very thin-skinned about it. And Chris Rock, because he researched Jada Pinkett Smith and he knew she had this disease prior, is a total bastard for bringing it up. Or he didn't know she had it.
Or who cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If we assume the worst, so assuming the worst is he hates Jada Pinkett Smith, he doesn't care that she has this affliction, and he wants to make fun of her anyways. That's the worst possible scenario. You don't hit people.
No.
The response by Will Smith should be, "Well, buddy, you're a jerk, and if you ever want to step outside or something, let's do it." You don't actually go up and smash the person. And it's like, and honestly, it's like, I mean, the joke is, it's like G.I. Jane 2, like it's not even.
I mean, no one. I saw that movie in the theater. No one remembers that movie. Like,
yeah, I own it. I was like the only person who liked G.I. Jane.
Ridley Scott should have sent a thank you note to Chris Rock. Thank you for mentioning G.I. Jane. No one remembers that movie.
Yeah, everyone Googled it. I guarantee you that got Googled.
Yeah, everyone, like half the audience was like rushing to their phones to IMDb G.I. Jane. Like, was that a movie or something? Yeah. but it's indicative to how arrogant Hollywood has become, in that they just feel they're justified. And we're talking about the A-listers. They just feel they're justified in whatever reaction they have. And they're just, whatever they want to do is perfectly all right because they're feeling emotional about something. And because they're feeling emotional about it, everyone else should just bear the brunt of it. And again, people would say this is, woke and all this. Well, let me tell you something. Hollywood has been doing this for years. It's just we're now more aware of it because of all the venues we have to broadcast it. But this has been how Hollywood has been and probably will always be. Chris Rock proved to be the better man. He proved to be not only a professional because he took that shot and he continued on with the show, but he chose, and he had every right not to, but he chose not to press charges. So Chris Rock did prove to be 100% the better man, and Will Smith is now tarnished his legacy, which quite frankly no one
literally doesn't care about him.
No one was gunning for him. No one was gunning for him. The worst things about that entire family were the kids up to this point. No one was pointing at Will Smith saying, you've done wrong. You could blame him being like, you've let your children do too much, right? Because they keep tweeting and doing this annoying thing I keep hearing about. I don't know. I don't follow them, but I've heard that like the kids are annoying. Okay, fine. But like that's been the biggest burden to point, and no one really talks about them. So, Will Smith just torpedoed his legacy over a bad joke at an award show that is barely watched.
Jim Carrey, I saw a thing with Jim Carrey, and he's like, I would have sued the guy for $200 million.
Yeah. Well, Jim Carrey's reaction, Jim Carrey, Rob Reiner, Mia Farrow, like everyone who's coming out generally is saying things that I'm like, yes, that's correct. Like Jim Carrey said he was sickened by the standing ovation and that. And I'm like, I get it. And this is someone said this, I think it was Kathy Griffin. This is going to set a bad precedent because what now happens at stand-up shows and that, if someone in the audience doesn't like a joke, they can go up and strike the performer.
And people keep talking about privilege, which really irritates me, and then we're going to get off this topic, is that like, this is privilege. You're watching it happen.
Yeah.
If a regular person, forget about the race for a second, and definitely forget about gender. Imagine it was a man slapping a female comedian. But anyway, forget about the race and gender for just a second. Let's just say a regular black man, not celebrity, was sitting there and went up and slapped Chris Rock. Like that guy would be instantaneously beat down, sent into the slammer, like instantaneously.
Yeah,
I can't believe this.
And this is why the whole conversation about privilege needs to go off of race and needs to go onto monetary value.
Yeah. It's like Will Smith is a big star, everyone loves him. Okay, no worries, you're good to go. Yeah, you can slap whoever you want.
Yeah, just slap whoever you want.
No, I didn't like that joke. Oh, okay. And then people are like, oh, he stood up for his wife. It's like, this wasn't a seedy bar where someone was going to beat his wife up and it becomes the Roadhouse or something.
No,
like
no.
That was like completely outrageous. But man, all the YouTube content creators are like,
yeah. They just had all of the both sides of the spectrum just were like rubbing their hands, like now I got enough content for at least 2 weeks.
This is going to be the China. This is going to be more overplayed than Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at Madison.
Oh, 2 years from now, Roman Reigns beat up Brock Lesnar 2 years ago at Madison Square Garden.
I had this idea. I'll say this really quick. I had this idea of doing a show that's called like it's like The Future Is Now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like hey J-Man here and in history it's like 20 years ago today in 2022. So I'm doing it's me 20 years from now, Like 20 years ago today, Chris Rock, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, or and stuff like. So I was gonna do like a news thing talking about, and then it's like how it's like gas prices have gone down to $7.37 a liter. So then I'd be doing the news today. So it's like it's like, hey, it's J-Man here. The year is 2042, and it's like, in other news, gas prices have actually gone down to $7.35 a liter. It's like the UN has finally decided to do something about Ukraine.
Meanwhile, the country's been
20 years,
obliterated. There is no Ukraine anymore.
there's still one family left alive. I mean, we're joking about it, but this is outrageousness. That's
I mean,
careful, someone's gonna slap you.
The state, we have to laugh because we can't cry over it, but man, things are just in the toilet. I don't know.
All right, let's talk about Smackdown, March 25th.
Well, before we do,
yeah,
you heard about Triple H.
he's retired.
He had to retire from. Now he's 52, so when they said he's retiring from in-ring action, I was sort of like, he hasn't yet. I haven't seen him in a match in years, but apparently he had heart failure, and they had to do that. And the funny thing was, I was thinking about it, and I think you and I discussed this. When he transformed into the game, the transformation was pretty shocking. Like, he was always like a pretty lean dude as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And even when he was in DX, and then when he split, all of a sudden he became this He-Man. I was like, and then he has heart failure at 52. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I know they said, I guess it's just official now, because like I haven't seen him in matches, so I just thought he did retire. It was just like a closed door retiring.
Yeah.
Now he's just officially saying, yeah, I'm done. Which is fine. What are you gonna do? The guy can't wrestle. So.
No, he's now like he might have a heart attack and die in the ring if he does. So
yeah. Okay, so Ronda was on SmackDown, doing some talking,
arguing with Charlotte Flair's pre-recorded video.
Yeah, that's terrible. Hi, I'm Charlotte Flair. I'm not here right now. I've left this message for you. We're gonna pretend I'm here, but
man,
I doubt.
I will give it to them though. They, unlike what they're doing with the tag team, they're not giving you the steak before the meal. Like,
that's true.
They are trying to keep them separate long enough, and they're pretty much doing the same with Becky and Bianca.
Yeah.
To like sell you to buy the pay-per-view to watch the match. So I will give them that. But that whole pre-recorded thing, I was sort of snickering through the entire thing, because I'm like, wonder if Ronda was like, they're like, okay, Ronda, Charlotte's going to pause here. Yeah. So now you can say your thing.
Yeah. And it's like, and then she's going to start talking, and you got to stop. So hurry up and say, I mean, yeah. And then, and Ronda's like, I'm the SmackDown champion. I'm not the women's champion. I'm just the champion. That was kind of, I was like, oh, but I mean, it is what it is. Like,
well, the one thing I think they could have done, J-Man, is they missed an opportunity to have Charlotte Flair say to Sonya Deville, hey, you used to be in the MMA, or Shayna Baszler, and say, how about we have a tune-up match so I can see how I fare against an MMA trained competitor, and just wipes the frigging floor with whoever it is, and then says to Ronda, your MMA background, you may be the baddest woman on the planet in the MMA, but I'm the baddest woman on the planet in the WWE. Like, there is still opportunity to build this up better, and they're not doing it.
Yeah, when I was in between the female matches, and when I'm watching the guys, for the ones that I don't care about, I start to think like, what would I do? And I came up with so many different things that would be interesting. And this tag match, which I guess we'll talk about in a second, because that is really the only big thing that happened here. But it wasn't even a tag match. It was
The Fatal 4-Way.
So Sasha, Shayna, Rhea, and Zelina all participating in the match with their partners around, but then the partners got kicked out or whatever.
Or at least a couple of them did. A couple of them got to hang around for some strange reason.
Yeah, I didn't get what was going on there. But again, and then, okay, so let me see. Everyone was fighting. Everyone's sent me, they're sent back. I like Naomi's green outfit. But Sasha makes Zelina tap. That was the outcome of that, right? Okay, that's a fail.
Yeah, she did.
She made her tap. And I'm like, why is Queen Zelina tapping? And like, these are the champions. What they should have done for this entire thing was, I like that Carmella and Zelina were like, now they're saying that they weren't on the same page, but they became on the same page. So I thought that was all staged by them. But now it seems like they're not saying it's staged because,
right.
Like, oh, we're back on the same page. So I was like, okay. What they should have done was, if they could have faked that whole thing up and then they literally pounce, attack, and win, they should have won all of these matches leading up to it. To be like, look, you guys think you're so good. We're pretty darn good. You can't beat us. Because at this point, they've been beaten every which way but loose. You know, in like, it's like they've lost. They've been pinned in tag matches with everybody. They've been pinned in singles 4-way matches. Then they're in a 8-woman tag match, and they lost in that one too, didn't they? Or did they lose in that one? I can't remember.
Yeah, they lost.
Yeah, right. Rhea does the Riptide on Zelina and wins, and it's like, what is going on here? These girls suck. Like, they've made it so that there's no chance in hell that if they retain the titles, it'll look bad. Like, they have to lose, because if they win, it'll look fake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the match itself was really good, actually, and shockingly, I didn't expect to get that level. Like some of the spots that were awesome were like when Queen Zelina was originally in the bank statement, and then Shayna Baszler came over and gave her a wrist walk.
That was cool.
And wouldn't let her tap. And then Sasha did a double bank statement on Shayna and Queen Zelina, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah. And they said, they're like, wow, this is a really good match. Like, this is like, you know, the announcers were like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah, like, but it was almost like a shocking thing. Like, oh, this is really good. I didn't expect this. And then Rhea took a Hurricanrana on the concrete floor and smashed into the barricade. I was like,
that was beats.
They almost botched that, eh? She just made it. She just made it by that much.
The problem is that Rhea is enormous.
I know.
And Zelina is like, she's got to be the shortest one. Is she the shortest one there, or is she taller?
Yeah, she's like 5'1", maybe.
She's short, and that just looked weird. But like, Rhea Ripley's like enormous.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, the way she fell, I'm like, okay, well, I was like, she's all right. So.
Yeah, they replayed it, and I was watching to see, and she just managed to clear it. It was close, but she did make it. But I was like, holy crap! Like, that looked like it hurt. And even before that, there was another move like that was pretty beats. But like, Sasha did the double backstabber, which was again an awesome spot. Like, I was just sitting there, I'm like, wow, they really let the women loose this week, because they were having almost like a pay-per-view quality match. It was pretty impressive.
I always wondered who determines. It's like, because it's the performers, right? Like, so I mean, I don't know how far does it go. I know Macho Man used to be a bit of a stickler, and like Ric Flair didn't like that, and there's some wrestlers that want to be a bit more spontaneous. And then there's guys who are very, like, oh no, I need to know what are the moves that we're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, how much planning do you, if you plan it too much, there's another J-Man. Hello. What was I gonna say?
Yeah, if you plan it too much.
If you plan it too much, it starts to seem like this is like fake. right? Because it's like they're waiting for the moves to happen.
And sometimes you see
you have the yeah. So
name.
Same name, exact name. Yes. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So I don't know how crazy it goes, but yeah, this is a really cool match. Yeah, nothing really bad to say about it.
Other than the finale.
Other than the finale of Queen Zelina just losing.
Like they should never have the champs lose going into WrestleMania.
For sure.
If they're in a tag match, the partner can lose. They could have pinned Shayna. They could have pinned, Rhea even. But like to make Zelina tap, it's like either this is going to be the biggest swerve, and then like you said, it's just going to be stupid because then they're just going to keep the titles, which I don't know if anyone would like that. Like the problem is too is that they have to see how long they want to go with these teams because I don't know. I don't see it them keeping a couple of these teams around. Like it's just Sasha Banks is no offense to Naomi. Sasha Banks is a star. She's had individual titles throughout her career. She doesn't really need to take championships. Same with Rhea Ripley. Like Liv Morgan may need it a bit more. I don't really think she does, but maybe she needs it a bit more. Naomi may need it a bit more, but like Sasha and Rhea don't. And in my opinion, you need to keep the titles on people who need them, not on people who don't.
Yeah. So who do you think is going to win? I guess we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was basically SmackDown. Then Raw. This was last night's Raw, so that was March 28th Raw. There's that Dana Brooke crap in the beginning with Reggie and Tamina and the proposals and all that. I mean, it's like so far.
Terribly scripted, terribly acted.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen like the Reggie Dana thing is just like very flat, very stiff, it's not natural. It's just bad. It's just they don't have chemistry together. I'm sorry, they don't. Tozawa and Tamina have more chemistry than the other two.
He's very funny.
Yeah, he's funny and like he matches up well with Tamina. It's just such an odd couple. It like strangely works.
Yeah.
I really like. I don't know. I like the two of them together, and I love Tamina's reactions to him. But the Reggie Dana thing is just bad. It's just bad.
What's the point of getting married to? Like, it's like, oh, we're married, okay, but I don't get it. Like, is this an angle? Like, is there going to be a marriage match? Like, whoever wins the match gets married. I don't know. Is this how like?
That'd be hilarious. That was the thing.
A marriage match, and they put I don't know. They put like a wedding ring on the top, and then it's like a ladder match to grab the wedding ring, and then
that'd be hilarious.
And that's who gets. I mean, I don't get it, right? Like, what is the point of this?
I don't know. Reggie's acrobatic. Dana Brooke is acrobatic.
Yeah,
Tamina and Tozawa are funny together. Maybe this is like one of those things, which is with R-Truth, which is there's been acts in the WWE that everyone doesn't like, but Vince McMahon does, and he just finds it funny. Apparently, he's got like the weirdest sense of humor, and he likes really cheesy, like comedy, which this is. And I think this literally is around to amuse Vince McMahon.
Yeah, so he doesn't care.
Because I can't see anyone else caring about this. So.
Yeah, so he just wants it in there no matter what.
Yeah, because he likes it. He's like, this is funny. This is amusing. He's done that in the past.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's horrible. It's horrible to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it, but it wasn't very long, so that's fine.
No.
So then we have the eight women. So it's like it's basically the only 8 wrestlers they got, all facing each other, in a tag match. Now there was a couple of the Heart Attack was on Sasha. That was pretty good.
And they actually called Corey Graves. Kudos to you. You actually called it a heart attack.
He said it. Yeah, he said
because that's what it is.
Rhea did the. I think she did the Riptide on Zelina. Was
yeah, she did the Riptide to win the match.
Again, Zelina. I don't get it.
The problem with this one was, first of all, Sasha. Them all coming up to Sasha's music was BS.
Yeah, that sucks.
Because Rhea and Liv have a great thing going with Rhea's music now, and you just do that. Also, why are they all, we're united? And I'm like, you're going to kick the crap out of each other.
1 week. Yeah.
I don't like what what's Shayna Baszler and Natalya were doing with Queen Zelina and Carmella was more what I expected. Like, they were like, you can't pin them, I'm pinning them. Like, it was more of a, we're your tag partners first because we just don't like the other side, but we don't like you either. And there was too much unity on the face side. I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened with that. It was just weird. Like, it wasn't such a bad match or anything, but you're just like,
No, it wasn't a bad match. The other thing I forgot to mention about the other one is Liv Morgan remember when all the women were fighting? She was in there in her heels.
Yeah,
short. She had chipping. I'm like, she's going to break her leg.
Yeah, I know. I thought that too. It's like,
I was legit worried for her. I was like, throw her out of the ring now before she kills herself.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, why are you in heels? Like,
yeah, but like this one, I mean, they came out to Sasha Banks' music.
Yeah, wow.
I don't get it. And we didn't even see the other side come out, so no one cared how they came in.
Yeah, it's like, I want to see the entrances. That's part of it.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't know how the commercials work, because like literally they come out and they're just sitting there. You're like, okay, and then it's like, what are they prancing around for? Like,
well, I remember we went to a Raw, and I think it was like, our buddy Sean mentioned this. We were sitting there, and MVP was sort of doing his shtick, and he was with Trish Stratus. And then he stopped for a while, and he was just standing there talking to Trish. And then he started dancing around again, and it was like, oh, we just came back from commercial break.
Right.
And
during the commercial break, it's like he does nothing.
Like, the referees have that earpiece, right? So they're the ones who keep track of the match,
right,
and they tell the competitors when to wrap it up. Yeah. So I'm quite sure they're also standing there telling them, hey, we're on commercial, just do whatever, and then I'll let you know when we come back, and you can go back into character.
It's like they literally sit down.
Yeah.
Live.
Well, that's why I love Shawn Michaels. Whenever he's waiting for someone to come into the ring, he just lied across the turnbuckle. He didn't care.
Yeah. Like Liv sits on the ropes or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think people do that. Raven all of a sat in the corner.
Yeah.
I think people who do that are the smartest, because you're just sitting there like, I'm in character, but I'm also just waiting for you to show up and do your thing.
You know what happened to Raisin? What about Raisin?
Who cares? What about you? What about Raisin? Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho is the funniest.
What about you? What about Raisin?
What was the other funny thing he said? He had so many good ones.
Oh, we talked about Vince McMahon, and he was going on. He's like, you are a very powerful man and all this, but this does not make up for the fact you have a tiny penis. I'm like, what?
I know, it's like, okay, what does that have to do with anything?
Chris Jericho is one of a kind, man. Like, so funny. He had the list of Jericho. You didn't see this, but he had the list of Jericho. And when someone did something he didn't like, he's like, I'm adding it to the list.
I remember the man of what was the Dean Malenko, the man of 1,000 holds?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I know 1,001 holds.
Yeah.
He's like, left punch. And then he's like, And like number 2 is like, like I don't know, like German suplex. And then number 3 is right punch.
He thought German suplex before right punch. Oh, I love when he was fighting Goldberg. He was supposed to fight Goldberg, and he's like, "I'm coming to get you, Goldberg." And he never knew his way to the ring when he had to fight Goldberg. He'd end up in other locker rooms and stuff. He'd wander outside. He's like, "You're not here, Goldberg." It's like, "You're outside. What the hell?"
Oh my god. Oh, so funny.
Chris Jericho, thank God he became a wrestler.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Oh,
everything he said it was funny. What about Raisin?
What about you? What about Raisin? And Kirk Angel? And, and Chris Benoit?
Benoit.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, so then we had the big one. Oh my god. Okay, Bianca Belair came out, had a pretty good little promo, like it was really good. She was talking good and all that. And then Becky came. Becky, I don't know how they're editing this, but like, even you're trying to see like where did she come from? And so she's literally just appears.
No.
Oh my god. And then we knew her hair wasn't going to get that. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Simon Miller on Wall Coach, we're not affiliated with him, but he always I love what he's like he teleported from the Enterprise. Like he just showed up.
Oh my god.
It's like, yeah, she appeared. It's a proverbial appeared out of nowhere, and just attacked Bianca. But Bianca, I was going to say to you, did you notice she botched the first KOD? That's why she had to do the second one. I think she missed it. I think Becky landed right on her boot, and I think Becky was holding her mouth afterwards. I'm like, I think that's legit. I think she had her actually nailed her, and then she hit her properly with the second one. But I was like.
Yeah, because they said 2 of them, and you're like, why? Okay, yeah, I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that she missed it. I was at that point in time. Raw is bad for me because it ends late.
Yeah.
So what I end up doing is I end up watching. I usually watch the last hour on my iPad. So the thing is, I've got a little stand for my iPad and next to me, so I've got it on there. But you're kind of on the computer and you're like, because it's like, I don't care what the men's match is and it's live. And then I look, I'm like, okay. And I'm watching the women's thing, but it's kind of, sometimes it's hard, you miss things versus my 65-inch TV where I'm like, okay, I can see everything, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, why is she doing this again? It's like, yeah, she kind of missed it. She messed up the first time. Okay, so that's what happened.
She just missed it. It looked like her face fell right across her boot. Mm-hmm. And it looked like it actually, I don't know if Becky was holding her face. I didn't know if it hit hard enough. That was legit, but I noticed when she did the second one, she actually spread her legs properly, and she landed right in the middle. Right. So I'm like, all right, fine. Like that one was proper, but the first one looked like it was a little bit weird where like they got their wires crossed about what Becky was doing versus what Bianca was doing, because Bianca picked her up, and it was just a weird angle, and then like dropped her, and it looks like she just caught her boot when she did it. I like Bianca's outfit here. I thought it was a pretty cool outfit.
Yeah, that was cool. And then, oh man, so Becky came out with the scissors to cut the hair. We knew that wasn't going to happen.
No.
And then she cut Becky's hair, which is like, Becky's hair is my favorite. Like, Becky's my favorite just based on her hair mostly. and her style and everything of being a villain. I like bad Becky. I like heel Becky, but that's my favorite. So hopefully she doesn't have super short hair. I was checking her Twitter and Instagram and all that, and I couldn't. She hasn't posted anything. Let's see if she posted anything recently.
Well, that was like Adrian Adonis versus Roddy Piper, where I think it was hair versus, like, he would shave his head if he lost, and then he lost. And he was unconscious in the sweeper hold, which I'm like, that's the first time I've actually seen a sweeper hold work. And he shaved Adrian Adonis's.
Hey, Skeptic.
I hear you, Skeptic. Work as hell.
No, this is the last photo she posted.
All right.
It's just normal. We can't
And
talk as much
if you
anymore.
saw like the match, Roddy Piper shaved his head, but he still had hair.
Right.
And then when he was on Saturday Morning Superstars, whatever the hell it was called, he was bald. He was like me. He was bald.
Right.
So I was sort of curious, like, because she didn't cut much of Becky's hair.
Yeah, so it'll just be a little shorter. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want it to be like completely like short hair.
No.
It's like her hair is like one of her features.
I think Becky sold it well.
Oh yeah. She was like not happy.
Yeah, and she used the B word.
Somebody said the B word. Come on, that was Beetlejuice. Nobody say the B word. Come on.
Well, I gotta give it. This is why Becky's the top of the mountain. She sells everything so well.
Yep.
Like she sold her losing a few locks of hair as if Bianca Belair had just spit on her entire family.
No, I know.
And this is why, like, Becky is the top of the mountain, in my opinion. Like, I'm Patrick Stewart. Thank you, Skeptic. You're right. Actually, except I'm far less talented and far less rich.
And I'm on a garbage TV show right now.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, we won't talk about that.
I think it was a decent. The Bianca Becky thing was better. Like the tag team match is just confusing as hell. I don't know what they're doing, and I don't. It's a shame. I think they could have done better, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't know how, and this is on the men's side. I don't know how you felt, but Bobby Lashley versus Omos, I'm catching that match because that's going to be something.
Yeah, I will definitely. Well, I'm going to watch it. I'll watch everything. What I'll do is I will try to. Well, I'm going to pay attention during the women's match. Take notes and stuff, and then I'll watch the men's matches because I'm not going to I'm not going to turn my head away or whatever.
Right.
So I'll watch all the matches and we'll see how it goes. But I want to write down our predictions. Crap. Let me start a new page here for Mania. What's the date of WrestleMania Day 1?
Second.
Second?
Yeah.
That's a Saturday. So April 1st is the last. So there's a Smackdown April 1st, right?
Right.
And then it's Mania. Okay, so let's do.
So on April 2nd will be Charlotte versus Ronda, and Bianca versus Becky is the main event.
Mania. What is this? 38 now? What are we up to?
38.
38, right? Oh crap, man! 38.
Got to give him credit, man. 38 years.
I started with number 2, and you started with number 1, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Hey, a mutual friend of ours went on Sunday night.
Really?
Yeah, so he's posting all these pictures. I'm like, dude, you went? He's like, yeah. He's got 2 daughters.
Yeah.
His daughters love. At least one of the daughters loved WWE. Man, I was like, oh my god.
That's awesome, man.
You've written books, yeah.
Thank you, Skeptic.
Oh my! I know. He should identify as a female. No, we're not getting into that. Okay, so let's do Undertakerette. Okay, so Saturday, April 2nd, is what's the matches?
So it's Charlotte versus Ronda, and it's Becky versus Bianca.
And Becky versus Bianca. Okay. I mean, I'm saying Ronda wins. Right? Ronda makes her tap.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Do you think that's happening?
Ronda is sort of like the Brock Lesnar of the female division. I know she said oh, I don't want to keep saying women. It's SmackDown champion. I'm like, well, you're a woman. I don't know what to tell you. But anyhow, she is the Brock Lesnar. Like she's going to make Charlotte tap. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah. Becky versus Bianca. What do you think?
It's Becky.
I was thinking Becky too. But
Becky,
I love Becky. She's like my favorite. But
Becky's whole thing now is she has the belt for 3 years, so you're not moving that off. By the way, there's a Hero Clicks now, Becky, eh?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the predictions there. Is that it?
That's it for the women on night one. There's only 3 women's matches in WrestleMania.
I mean, this is brutal. I wish all 3 were on the same night. Then if that was the case, I think we should have gone. Like, it would have been neat to go.
Yeah. If it was one night, then it would have been fine. But it spread over 2.
Yeah, that's that's just my only concern. It's because it's going to be they're each 3 hours or
yeah.
So they're both it's like watching the Batman twice. So it's like 2 3-hour night. I mean, it's not bad for the price because it's cheaper than a movie and you're getting 6 hours even if you do 2. It's just that like I mean, there's probably even for the men's division, like if we took everything I'm interested in, that would be 3 hours.
Yeah.
So there's going to be an hour and a half that I'm not interested in on both nights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like even with the men's division, because there's some that Lashley. I'm looking forward to Brock Lesnar. Like, let's see what happens. You know, McIntyre, he's okay. The KO guy, Kevin Owens, like well, everything else is like I don't care.
Most of what I'm interested in is night one. So like AJ versus Edge is night one. Yeah. Almost versus Bobby Lashley, I think, is night one. Yeah. Seth Rollins versus the Mystery, who is Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, will be night one. Like most of what I'll watch with the men is night one, but night 2 is just a disaster for me.
So what's night 2? Okay, so
night 2 is like
night 2 is the women's tag match.
Yeah, and it'll be Brock versus Roman, and the rest is like Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn, and like RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy. Like, no offense, there's the problem with this WrestleMania, which is the problem with this WWE right now, is one, there might be like 1 or 2 competitors I'm interested in, and the other side I'm not interested in. So for instance, I like RKO Bro.
Right.
I don't care about the Street Profits or Alpha Academy.
Oh, I don't care about those guys at all.
I like the New Day. Yeah. I don't care about Sheamus and Ridge Holland.
Right.
I don't care about Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios. I don't care about any of that. Like, there's not enough. Like, you remember when it was like Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle, where you're like, oh my God, I have to watch this because these are 2 great competitors. Angle versus Edge is the only one that's like that. The Danger Zone?
Danger Room. I got rid of Danger Room, and it's just going to be Phantom Zone. But that's going to be this Saturday. That's coming back.
Yeah.
That's coming back this Saturday. Steve and I are going to see Morbius.
Yeah, don't worry, Skeptic. You're not being rude. We're just being more. When you say this stuff, think of being fat moms wrestling.
Well, I had a Phantom Zone plan. What was? Sunday we're doing RD&D on Sunday.
Yeah.
So yeah, this weekend. So yeah, it'll be. Yeah, I mean WrestleMania. I mean, I would be close to saying let's just do Saturday then, and that might be kind of cool. But I don't know now because it's 8 o'clock. It's 8, right? So
it's 8. It goes to 11.
Yeah.
It's just it's too much. Like if they did one night, I'd be like sure, but like
yeah,
the 2-night thing just no.
Okay, so the tag match. Who? I mean, I'm gonna say it's Liv and Rhea.
I'm going to go with this is the first time I'm going to divert from you. I'm going to go Sasha and Naomi.
Okay, so Sasha, Steve. Okay.
There's a reason.
Yes, what's your reason?
I think after Mania, when Becky retains, her next opponent's Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley's not going to fight her if she's the tag champ.
That's your reasoning?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. My reasoning is that, like, so I followed, like, Becky's my favorite.
Mhm.
And well, Becky and Ronda, I think Becky's my favorite. And then Ronda, and then Liv, and then Charlotte and Rhea. Those are like kind of my favorites. And I like Bianca. That's kind of my top people. Sasha Banks, I don't know well enough yet. So I follow all their accounts, and I'm seeing a lot of like L4B, like L4, so Live for Brutality. So it's like, because they've named them,
Yeah.
and they're, you know what I mean? It's like they're giving them an identity now. Liv has transformed her outfits to match Rhea's style. So I'm like thinking, you're doing a lot of work promoting this name, and if they're just going to lose, then whatever. But yeah, if you're thinking Rhea's going to be the next contender, then yeah, there's no point in her being attacked unless they're going to have an angle where maybe at one of the other pay-per-views, her and Liv will get into a fight or something, or they'll lose. You know, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, okay, I'll stick with Liv and Rhea, and you've got Sasha. So that'll be interesting. Let's see. Ronda's winning. There's no doubt in my mind.
No.
I think Becky should win because Bianca doesn't really need that belt. She's like, we talked about this before. You don't need it. And everyone loves Bianca, but there's nobody that doesn't like her. Because there's people that don't. It's like, oh, you know, Becky's overrated, or I'm tired of Ronda, and you know, like, but I don't see any negativity for Bianca. So there's no point. Why she's won everyone over. Who cares? You don't need the belt anymore.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. What they need in the women's division is the same thing they have in the men's division. They need a second tier championship.
Yeah. So they've got the 24/7 title. Is that a women's title, or can anyone have that? I guess anyone can have that.
Well, generally it's been a man, but I guess now Dana Brooke has it. So
yeah, okay. So that's a bullshit title. So they've got the women's SmackDown, women's Raw, and they've got the tag belts. Is that it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. They need a second tier.
Yeah, they need another tier.
I mean, and they also need.
What do the men have? The men
They have the Intercontinental, and they have
two. So they've got. They have two Intercontinentals, like SmackDown Intercontinental and Raw Intercontinental.
No, they have. So Raw has the Intercontinental, I believe, and SmackDown has the U.S. belt, which is a holdover from WCW.
Okay, so who's got the heavyweight?
It's Brock and Roman.
Okay, so Brock and Roman have a SmackDown Heavyweight Championship and a Raw Heavyweight Championship.
Right.
So SmackDown Heavyweight, Raw Heavyweight, U.S.
and Intercontinental.
I got you.
And then two tag team belts.
Oh.
RK-Bro is the Raw champs, and the Usos are the SmackDown champs.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, so just the whole confusion. Brock Lesnar, the Raw belt is the Universal belt. The SmackDown belt is the WWE Heavyweight belt.
Okay.
So the WWE Championship is what the WWE Championship, the Universal one, is they gave for the brand split, right? So they had to make a new championship. They used to have the WCW belt as the other championship, but they turfed it. So now it's just the Universal belt and the WWE Championship belt.
So who's got what right now?
So Roman's the WWE champion. Brock Lesnar's the Universal champ.
Oh my God.
But here's the problem too: is in the men's division. This is why I don't want the women to have a second tier belt, because in the men's division, they're not doing anything with the second tier champs. Like Ricochet's the Intercontinental champion, and all I've seen him do since he became Intercontinental champion is lose. He lost to both members of Los Lotharios, who are, they're B-list guys.
Right.
And he just lost to Austin Theory. And I'm like, this guy became Intercontinental. Like, he's lost matches constantly since he became Intercontinental Champion. So why has he got the belt?
Right.
Finn Balor's the U.S. champion, who's really, really good. He started the Bullet Club in Japan. He either started it or he took over for AJ Styles. I can't remember.
Right.
But he's another guy who loses way too often. And he's a guy who will take on a secondary persona when he needs to win a match. He'll come out in makeup and it's the Demon King. And he comes out to like different entrants and everything. And it's really cool. And he won the Universal Championship from Seth Rollins, but he ended up getting hurt by Seth Rollins during the match and he had to abdicate it. And they never made him champion again after that.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, they almost need to, I mean, nobody's going to watch a pure women's show. I guess they're thinking nobody would watch a pure women's one. I wouldn't mind them trying it out.
I would love for them to add more women to the roster, because right now I caught a bit of NXT. You have Toxic Attraction, who are the main heels. And you had Billie Kay Ray, who was the NXT UK champion, who's now come to the States, and she's in NXT. She's there with Io Shirai, who's a Japanese wrestler, and you know Japanese are awesome
Yeah,
wrestlers.
they're awesome.
And then there's a third girl who I don't know, and they're taking on Toxic Attraction. And I'm sitting there saying, bring Toxic Attraction to the main roster. Mandy Rose was already there before. Just bring them back. Like, have them as a heel stable.
You've got all these people on payroll. They're not doing anything with them. This is why I constantly see where people are dropped. They're dropped not because they suck, but you didn't do anything. I don't even know about these people.
Well, the worst, this really killed them in the locker room. Cesaro left. Cesaro was an amazing competitor. He had the Cesaro section. He would do that move. It would be the swing.
Mm-hmm.
He would do the swing. People would die for it. He did this one move to Seth Rollins. He put him on his neck. He didn't hold him. He put him on his neck and did an airplane spin, just holding him with his neck. This guy picked up huge men. Like, he was the strongest, pound for pound, the strongest guy in WWE. He would pick up guys and suplex them, who was amazing. And Vince McMahon didn't push him. Stone Cold told him to push him. Mick Foley told him to push him. All these guys told him to push him. He didn't push him because he's like, he doesn't have it. Remember Fighting with the Family? It? He doesn't have it. I'm like, the guy's over with the fans. He's a terrific competitor. He's a workhorse. Matt Hardy smashed his face and he lost teeth and he continued wrestling when Matt Hardy destroyed his teeth.
Right.
What more would you like, Vince? Because he's not 7 foot? Like, he tosses 7 feet guys. Like, he does everything. What are you looking for?
Right. Yeah, Vince McMahon is, well, you see him in that segment is a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know who that was, Skeptic. Would you guys consider doing movie commentaries, the three of you? I really have considered that, and I've already started to think about what commentaries we should do.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely 100% want to do those.
Yeah.
I started making. I don't know if I have it here. Let me see.
That's a great suggestion, though, Skeptic.
I actually made. I don't know. I didn't upload it. Did I upload it? No, I didn't upload it. I already made a like a JPEG for like a thumbnail for. I wanted to do a watch party for all of us on here, and we'd be watching together and do it live stream because it's a public domain movie. Bloody Pit of Horror. I love the movie. I've even made some cubies of it and all that.
Bloody Pit of Horror, man.
Yeah, it's great. It's like this guy it's the Crimson Avenger or whatever, or Crimson Executioner.
Okay.
And he wears like this mask. He wears like a domino mask, like the Phantom, and he's got the red and all that, and he's like executing these idiots that show up at this like castle or whatever. And it's a great movie. It's one of those like Italian dubbed over.
Oh yeah.
So and it's public domain. I wanted to actually have the movie playing with us just talking over it and laughing about it and all that. No, Nemesis. Oh no, I could do it. No, well, the first Nemesis movie. Oh, I'm doing okay. Skeptic, you've convinced me. I wanted Sean won't do Nemesis 4 though. He can't do it. He won't do it. I tried to trick him by saying, "Oh, come over, we'll watch," and then I put Nemesis 4. He's like, "Oh," and it's like he'll do it. He'll do it if push comes to shove. He'll do Nemesis. But I literally want Nemesis 1 is a very good movie, so there'd be no point doing commentary because it's just awesome. It's a really great, B grade.
Yeah.
But I did order a bunch of stuff. I've got Steve, I'll talk to you private. I'll say all this privately after we're done because I don't want we're almost at an hour. I don't want these to go over an hour. But okay, so let's end it off there. Tomorrow, I'm going to be on Arkham's channel, and we're going to talk about The Dark Knight Returns, the comic book.
Okay.
We're going to talk about has it become overrated at this point? So I mean,
I don't. It's interesting you say it because like when we read these, like Dark Knight, and Long Halloween, Killing Joke, all these very iconic Batman comics, they're terrific stories, but they're not the only stories in the Batman lexicon.
That's what I'm gonna say. Like,
yeah,
they're great, and The Dark Knight Returns is hyper important and super good, but it's not the only Batman story there is. So, and I'm gonna give my suggestions on where I would start if I was someone who's coming in, and I would it would depend on what the person told me. Like, what do you want out of Bat? Like, if someone's like, "Hey, look, I just watched this movie or this cartoon, or I heard about this story. I feel like getting into Batman. What do you suggest?" Then I'll suggest, right? So it's different depending on who's asking me and in what capacity they're asking me. Like, are they saying, "Look, I want to collect Batman comics," then I'll say what to do. Right? If they say, "Look, I just want some good stories of Batman. I don't want to devote monthly money to buying Batman," then I will say, "Okay, well, then you can try this, that, or the other." But
the problem ends up being everyone keeps citing these 3 stories, particularly cycling through them. The problem is, though, is that all 3 of them are still great Batman stories, and they keep saying they're inspiring them. But I'll be honest with you, where I would start and I'm starting from the movie venue, not from reading comics, because you got to do Legends of the Dark Knight because it doesn't have the iconic villains. It only has Batman. Just do that because you guys don't want to do the villains properly, and that's whatever. I'm through arguing with that. Just do Legends of the Dark Knight then.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. He fights villains, thugs, whatever. That's it.
Yeah. I read the first 30 issues of Action Comics. It's not the Superman you think it is. It's a completely different Superman, but they're fine, and they're very short because they're only like 10 pages. Because Action Comics is an anthology book in the beginning. But I mean, we'll talk about it more in depth tomorrow on Arkham's channel, not here.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do Phantom Zone. We'll bring back Phantom Zone this Saturday. We're gonna talk about Morbius. Moon Knight should be out by then. Moon Knight's out tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Wow. We're going to talk about that.
Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois. Whatever else is out. But yeah, Morbius. Sean's not seen Morbius, just Steve and I. But Sean doesn't care about spoilers. So we're going to review Morbius and go through all that. All right, guys. That's it. Hope to see you tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, then Saturday. Take care.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man. And he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.